My name is Jeff Mirandilla, founder of Money That Matters. Welcome into our e-learning session. Together with my team, we're launching this session talks on business, finance, leadership, and personal development that will make your learning during this quarantine easy and fun. I hope you stay connected with us. Happy learning.
Hi, this is Ian. I am currently an instructor with a state research university in the Philippines. And while I have that as my day job, since early this year, I've been involved more with startups, starting in 2016 when I was with Pharma Solutions Inc., which is a tech startup involved with remote farm monitoring solutions. Basically, an Internet of Things or IoT tech startup. I'm currently involved with at least three more at the moment, and I will not be talking about exactly about them, but in relation to my experience with them. Please do take note that with tech startups are uh, critical technologies, and these technologies can be easily copied. So there is a need for non-disclosure agreements and the necessary intellectual property protection. I have my website on screen, shown on the screen, and also my contact detail, primarily my email address. Should you want to get in touch with me and inquire more about startups after this very short talk. Before we proceed with the talk, let me first ask about your outlook in life. This is a personal question of mine to gauge if a person can be a team player or a member. Well, I do not necessarily just ask them this question. What I do is I size up a person in real life settings, but for the sake of this talk, I could only provide a polling link. So I have created a survey question over at menti.com. Please go to the link and just key in the code 3295171. So please answer and hope I can get your feedback. The survey question is if you see the world owing you or you see yourself owing the world. I will share via the YouTube link the results of the survey. As to the relevance of the question, I shall return to this later in the talk. Let's begin with how to start your own tech startup. Like any business, a startup needs its fundamentals: a product, a business model, a team, and capital. The difference with a startup compared to a business is at least one of these is missing or in development, and that is why it's called a startup. It's starting from nothing, so it could be all the four at the same time. Sorry, and I think the descriptive noun technology makes a startup have a product or business model centered on a technological innovation that will change the way people do, think of, and make things. With tech startups, innovation is with the product or the business model. The team and capital will just follow. The team should have a maven or expert on a technological field, as we shall see later. Capital is another aspect that will follow the technology and or business model. Let us go through each of one of them. Product remains in development because there is none like other in the market. Because product is in development, it may be a prototype still, okay, in the prototype stage, or what the lean startup methodology calls a minimum viable product or MVP. It seems this is self-explanatory, but to make it standard, the MVP is a prototype, working prototype with limited or minimum working parts in its design. This follows the engineering design process. The MVP is already intended for use by what is called early adopters. Okay, and it should gain traction from there. The lean startup framework uses also the pivot approach to create the product or remodel or uh, improve the product. It could be rolling out a feature every iteration, or even removing a feature in exchange for another, or removing features altogether. The idea is to take in comments and suggestions from the customers themselves in a feedback loop, as you can see on the diagram. If you have been a beta tester in websites and apps, know that you've been already an early adopter of the website or app, or simply a feature of that website or app, because it is based on the concept that people do not know what they want. That is why Facebook is rolling out a feature every now and then. It keeps people hooked up until the next feature. One important aspect of the product is intellectual property. In the Philippines, computer code cannot be patented. They can be copyrighted instead. A patent should protect your startup in commercializing your product, while excluding others to your their technology, which can be an invention or a utility model. How will the product be produced and reach customers? That is defined now by the business model, and it starts with the creation of the product. Will it be fabricated? What parts or services will be outsourced? One very typical example of product without a business model is YouTube in its early days. Before Google came in and bought YouTube, it was unknown to most, including me. Okay. Personally, I was already a staple at video hosting websites, because unlike YouTube, they had products to offer already, like funny and sexy videos. Along the way, YouTube was able to develop its model, paving out content creators so that it is now billions of dollars in valuation. Well, the video hosting sites I've watched before, I think they're already struggling right now, or even out of business already. Because what YouTube was able to develop was working with people, individuals, empowering them, or the average person, to broadcast ideas, uh, share happiness, and uplift millions around the world. But without a business model, your startup should have to develop one along the way of your product development. Since you have customers who do not know what they want, or know what they want at the moment, okay, or what they what know what they want for their product, and they are inputting the features of your technology, they will also be key in defining the flow of your product from your production line to them, your end users. So the business model will be dependent on also all your customers. Will they want it directly sold to them via multi-level marketing, or direct selling, or traditional retail? In the IT scene, models like freemium, subscription, transactional, and retail, or also affiliate, are the normal modes of sales. Also, marketing would be very essential. You go for the traditional TV, radio format, or social media platforms. Now, the startup team, where you should belong, like the product, will have to start out lean as well. It will have to start with the very basic. The Scrum Guide sets it with a product owner, development team, and a Scrum Master. With our experience, we have the logistics guy, the electronics expert, and the marketing maven. So that is very lean. So it's really, what's leaner is, well, to simplify it like this, we have the Scrum Master, the connector, and the maven. We have the connector doing the sales, stocking, the maven developing the product, and the Scrum Master, who is overseeing all of the deliverables and doing what can be done that no one is doing. The Scrum framework is known for sprint planning, or short collaborative meetings to set things straight for everyone. Backlogs, uh, pivots, and milestones. As your company grows, you may hire other people later and they become the full-time employees of your company. But before doing so, the financials of the company should be able to support the team. You can also partner with uh, people who are not really your uh, employees, but partners. In this case of our company Ideation Builds, we have farmer partners. This leads us now to funding. How and where will a company get the moolah or money? If you are now selling something to friends and family, co-workers, you may want to sell them your MVP if you already have your product of your startup. They are called angel investors. There are some though who have made angel investing an art and formed an enterprise out of it. There is Manila Angel Investor Network, Philippines, or Main.ph. There's also 1000 Angels, which we interacted with along the journey of my first startup experience. What they do is pull money from member partners in exchange for your MVP or other perks. This is somehow similar to crowdfunding, where you have that there in the screen, the Spark project. So what people do here is they chip in money to fund causes or startups in exchange for tokens. It can be the token can be the MVP itself. Then there are industry partners. Under an agreement, an industry partner will pledge a certain amount of money in exchange for a chunk of the company ownership. An industry partner is an established company related to your field of, or at least in a way, tangent to your field of operations or your technological field. And this is where company valuation comes in, because the next stop, the venture capitalists, they are entirely after your ownership. VCs, or yeah, venture capitalists or VCs, they have money, but no experience with your line of business. So they evaluate your company, and they given lots of money out of your valuation, and it would depend if they will see if they are going to make money out of your business. So their interests, the return of investment or ROI, team credentials, or the product itself will be key, or will be influential, or factors that will decide if help the VC decide if they're going to invest with your business. We have here in the VC list a DS Space, and it's a fusion of an incubator and venture capital firm. The rest, Kickstart, Gideon, FN, okay, Nara, Venture Capital, and First Asia. These are purely VC companies. An important thing to getting everything together is to have a Class A team. As what Eric Ries of the Lean Startup framework said, okay, a Class A team with a Class B idea is better than a Class B team with a Class A idea. Besides the team, it could be important to get support from an incubating group to aid with administrative functions, connections, and other non-tangible inputs. Incubation hubs have direct links to consultants who can offer their services for free, equity with the company, or some minimum fee. Your startup will initiate an agreement with the incubation facility. They can even offer you space in their office, so you have initial space to operate your business already. Still, with getting the act together, you can get things started by requiring first to assess your idea. And this is where this table comes in, the venture evaluation table for business. As an aspiring tech entrepreneur, you can use this table to evaluate your business before starting. And this can be likewise used to check up on the business along the way of its operations. Like all businesses, a startup tries to solve a problem, then a value proposition to solve the problem, and a check of its sensibility by checking the value hypothesis. Then the objectives of the startup will have to be laid out. Companies are usually known to have mission and vision statements, and this is no different with the objectives, which should be as sound as possible and with purpose. Lastly, the key partnerships, activities, resources, and costs should be identified to realize the startup. All this should be carefully laid out. A problem with any of these key factors should be tweaked to achieve realistic results. There's another factor to a tech startup, and that is timing. According to Bill Gross, a startup expert, the release of a technology in a market should be right. Are the people willing to accept it? Is the support framework, okay, the technological framework behind it available? Netflix was a success because the tech of video streaming has been perfected already, and internet bandwidth is at least 1 Mbps. But it could not have been a success back in the days of dial-up internet. Let me go back to my question at the start of the talk. Does the world owe you, or do you owe the world? What I see with people who think they owe the world is they tend to want to leave a legacy in this world rather than take from it. And I think I would like to end this talk with a challenge by virtue of the effect of technologies or innovations to the majority of the people who need it the most, those below the poverty line. In a study by Christensen et al., innovation spurs market creation. It empowers people so they are democratized. And doing so brings them closer to equality and further from poverty. So if you have a great idea and you're not acting on it, and more so not sharing it to the world, then you're doing disservice to humanity. As the adage, or overstated adage goes, with great power comes great responsibility. Thank you, and I've been inspired to work on your ideas and start your tech startup. Thank you again.